Hello, hello, everyone loves Raymond fans, ELR 360 Live. How is everybody doing today? It's Emmy weekend here in Hollywood, and so I thought we could talk a little bit about the Emmys. I don't know what number it is this year, maybe the 75th, 73rd, something like that. I hope you all had a good week. I hope you all caught up on some episode of Raymond. I had a very good time talking Raymond with a lot of friends, including Raymond and Philip Rosenthal. Hello, Gil. How am I sounding there, Gil? And I don't mean to keep calling on you, Gil, to be my sound technician, but it seems like you have fallen into one of those categories, all-around nice guy, super fan, and sound check. Hello from Tacoma. Hello in Tacoma. Good day, Australia. Early in the morning there, Lee, in Australia. I know we have a big fan base. I have never been to Australia. I don't think Ray has ever been to Australia. And I don't think Phil has been to Australia. I'll have to ask other people. Hello, Paula. Hello, Rosie in Wisconsin. Is it snowing there yet? Hello, Donnell. Hello, Puerto Rico. Hello, Alberto. I hope I'm pronouncing that with a perfect New Jersey accent. Hello, Pasadena, right around the corner. For those of you that don't live in Southern California, we are coming off of a horrific heat wave. Which, if you're in Austin, Texas, it might be a cold snap, but lots of 100-degree weather here. So I posted a picture, and for those of you, hello, Norway. Hello, Frank. Yes, good to hear from you. So the Emmys. The Emmys are a big deal or not a big deal. Whatever your attitude is, because you are judging art, and it's very subjective. But having said that, the Emmys is the top of the heap for the TV industry. And I have mentioned this in the past. Hello, Leo. Everyone's Raymond when we started. Hello, Sydney, Australia. It did not get nominated. So Ever's Raymond did not get nominated. So I think we ended up with 69 nominations. But I believe the first 1, 2, and possibly 3 seasons, we got 0. That is the international sign for 0 right there, and hopefully nothing bad in some countries. So we assumed, and Phil and Ray were like, okay, well, we're doing good work, and if we don't get nominated for an Emmy, so be it. But we know that people seem to like the show, even though the show was not highly rated in the ratings, which I know for those of you who are watching it on streaming, you're watching it on all these other apps, etc. But whenever Raymond was premiering in 1996, there were 3 main networks, ABC, CBS, and NBC, and CBS was in 3rd place by a long shot. And so the ratings really mattered, because if you didn't get good ratings, the show would be canceled. And an Emmy nomination up front would have been very nice, but it did not happen. And then I think the first Emmy nominations were, Patricia Heaton and the always talented Doris Roberts, I think, were the first 2 Emmy nominations. But that is something you can look up. But I do remember the feeling, and I think the first Emmy win was Patricia Heaton. And I remember feeling such a sense of like, oh, the show is actually recognized for the first time. And again, historically, I know when you're looking at it from now, it's like, it's hard to imagine that nobody even noticed Ever's Raymond, but that is how it was at the beginning. I just found let me see if I can find it, a photo of Patricia Heaton coming out with a fake Emmy when she was being introduced to the audience. Now, I've been posting some curtain calls, and I have to find a complete cast introduction. So when the show starts, Mark Sweet does the warm-up, and then he introduces Ray. Ray comes out with the microphone and goes, okay, thank you very much. We're in for a good show. And then he introduces the cast. And you'll see the cast waving. And the picture I just posted is of Patty having fun. And I think in that posting, Ray is hugging a woman from the audience. I'm going to look at that proof sheet again and see. I think an audience said, can I hug you? And she came down, etc. So the cast, it's not that they don't want to sit there and talk to the audience. It's that the clock is ticking and you want to film the show and get the show finished as quickly as possible because you want the audience to enjoy it like a play and not be exhausted by some 4 or 5 hours to watch a 22-minute episode. So I showed you, I posted that photo of Patricia Heaton. It's the angle is from the set looking towards the audience. So this photo that I will see if I can find to show you was of Patricia Heaton after she won her Emmy, and I think it was September 10th, 2000. And then we shot, I think it was the episode Meant to Be, September 11th, 2000. So the next morning, Patty Heaton wins the Emmy. The next morning, she has to go to work, and she has to shoot the show. And so she came out, and she brought a kind of fake Emmy, I guess you would call it. So here, let me see. And I will post these. These are never before seen, newly scanned photos. So there we go. Patty is standing, and I don't even know what that is and who made that for her. That's Ray's daughter standing next to Ray. And so Patty coming out. And again, we were so proud of her and so happy because it was at least some recognition of the show, the quality of work that we were doing. Then she, let's see this, rather than not have her Emmy, Don, who was in the props department, he ran her Emmy out to her. So there she's holding the fake Emmy. And again, I'll post these photos. She's holding the fake Emmy, and Don Rosemond is bringing her real Emmy out to her. There's Ray looking on. That's a great shot. Again, I just scanned that this morning, never before seen. And then I believe Raymond is holding the Emmy. Yes, so there we go. Raymond holding Patricia Heaton's Emmy as Ray's daughter, Allie, who plays Molly in the show, looks on. A great moment. And for those of you, the outfits they're wearing would be the outfits that they're wearing in the first scene of Meant to Be, I believe. It's either Pet Secretary or Meant to Be, but I think it's Meant to Be. And you guys can tell by what Patty and Ray are wearing. I don't think Allie is in that show. So there you go. So that was Patricia Heaton wins. Of course, she's a great actress. She wins that first season. Then that first time in 99, maybe, or 2000. She won in 2000. That's right. September 10th, 2000. The next year, she wins again. And it was kind of understood on the show that Ray was surrounded by really good actors. So obviously, Peter Boyle, the legendary Peter Boyle, already when the show started, it was such a coup to get Peter Boyle. But Doris Roberts, these veteran actors, and of course Patricia Heaton, who had an amazing range. And Ray, I've said in the past, but Ray was on another show called News Radio, and he got fired after the table read, which means they never filmed anything. They had the table read, Ray read his lines, and then they called his manager and said, we're going to go another way, which means Ray was fired. So he had lasted one day on the set of a show, which could make you feel like maybe he's not a good actor. So I posted a picture earlier today of the moment years later when Ray submitted for, and I'll get into the submission process, an episode, and he ends up winning an Emmy for acting. So it was such a great moment, and knowing that backstory where this is a guy that got fired for acting and was not known, nothing against Seinfeld, but Seinfeld was not known as a great actor. And sitcom stars who were stand-up comedians, they weren't asking them to be necessarily great actors. They were asking them to have great comedic timing, which Ray did, and obviously Seinfeld has, etc. So when Ray won, and this is the picture, when Ray won, he came down, and it's just a great photo because you see Doris Roberts cheering, Patricia Heaton cheering, and of course Brad Garrett cheering, and there's Ray putting the Emmy down after he won for acting for the episode that he submitted, which was called The Breakup Tape, based on a real-life story that happened to Aaron Shore, which Aaron Shore and I wrote. We wrote the episode, The Breakup Tape, and I will tell you more. All right, let me more about that process and going back and forth. Okay, let's scroll back. I don't want to miss any questions. How is Ray? Ray is good. Do Emmy Awards come with monetary payout as well? Leo, I think that would be a great idea. A little bit of cash, like tucked into the award, perhaps, or a $100 bill taped into the bottom of the award. No, there is no monetary reward attached. So you don't. So let me go back. There's different categories, obviously, for Emmys. So when the show won, so the show going from never being nominated to ultimately winning twice for Outstanding Comedy, and one year, which we felt we had a really great season, we lost to Friends, and the Friends producers sent over, I forget if it was a basket or T-shirts that said, co-winners or something. It was Raymond, but it was very nice of the Friends producers to write that. So the award for the best show goes to anybody who's a producer. So when we won in, I think, 2003, I forget if there were 8 producers or 9, 10. I honestly don't remember, but pretty much everybody who went, if you look up Evers Raymond Emmy Awards, you'll see all of us on stage. The actors don't win, only producers win for the best show. So Phil gave the speech, and I can't remember if Ray, I don't think Ray, I think Phil just gave the speech, etc. But you will see we all ran up, and I will tell you the stories of that win. Okay, so the Emmys. What venue are the Emmys held at this year? So the Emmys, by the way, are tomorrow. I'm bringing this up because you'll see press. Emmy, traditionally, awards do not do that well in the ratings because, it's got to be a really entertaining show. And the Grammys, for example, have people doing giant music hits. And so they have a better shot of garnering a large audience. And it's a very odd thing. For some reason, music, which can fill stadiums versus a TV show doesn't fill a stadium to have fans watch them, live music does not do as well on TV. So if you guys ever notice, like The Tonight Show, the earlier Tonight Shows, the Johnny Carson Tonight Shows, the musical guest would always be at the end. So even if they were a giant musical act that could fill stadiums, they just didn't do as well, especially on late night TV. It's just not, what are you in the mood for at the time? Which is why, when you hear, I don't know that you have it in the UK or Australia, or Norway, but when you hear like morning drive time radio, it's a much more frenetic thing because people are driving and they're hearing little pieces and stuff like that, and it wouldn't play well at night. So the same thing with music. So going back to award shows, it's very tough to keep that audience engaged because I know, having written on the Creative Arts Emmys, when you watch the Emmys, a lot of times you're going, oh my gosh, who's written these terrible jokes for these announcers? Well, a lot of times the announcers, they're seeing the material the day of or a few days before. They're reading it. That's me imitating someone reading. And they're not comedians. So when you watch that banter and you go, oh my gosh, this feels so uncomfortable to watch, very often is because they're not professional comedians. They're actors. They don't do comedy. They're doing drama. But the instinct for the producers of the Emmys is to write comedic banter. So the first time when I wrote on the Emmys, that's when I realized, oh, I've been spoiled by writing jokes for Ray, who can deliver anything you write much better than you've written. And so you would write these funny episodes, these funny jokes, and then you would watch the person deliver, and you go, oh, that's terrible. They have declared war on comedy and destroyed that joke. So having said that, the question about what venues are the Emmys held. The Emmys this year, I think, is at the Microsoft Live Theater, which is downtown across from the Staples Center. It's a terrible, terrible room for comedy. It's a very, very big venue with very high ceilings. And comedy, the best thing is in a theater. So when you watch the Oscars, they are often at the, I don't even know what they call it now. Is it the Dolby Theater? It was the Kodak Theater. It's had a lot of names, a lot of corporate names. It's at Hollywood and Highland here in Hollywood. That's a nice theater. And so comedy works really well. Comedy does not work well in a giant stadium. You like to have an intimate setting, as intimate as you can possibly pull off, which is why the Golden Globes is one of the few awards that's held in a very small, kind of not conference room, but a meeting room that has round tables and people are drinking, versus the Emmys, you're not really drinking in the room. There you go. That's my little subtext is drinking helps comedy. Was I ever a producer on ELR? Yes, I was. ELR pilot was Emmy worthy, and all the episodes after. That is very nice of you to say. So the not being nominated for an Emmy, because here's someone who never won an Emmy. Jackie Gleason never won an Emmy. Bob Newhart, who recently passed, I posted some pictures of him. He won one Emmy for his appearances on Big Bang Theory. So, a lot of times it's being aware. You have to get nominated. Then once you're nominated, you have to be. I should go back. In the old days, you didn't know necessarily that someone was watching all of the episodes that were nominated. So, for example, you might have the people voting, and I'm not casting aspersions on these people, but you would see a name and you would say that, yeah, I'm going to vote for them. It became stricter recently, where I think you have to, you're in a committee, you have to, I don't know if it's an affidavit, but you have to watch those episodes. And so you're it's a little bit more stringent. And again, don't quote me on all of these, but I do know that the people who have to vote in their peer group take it very seriously. Hello, Donnell. Okay, first nominations were in 99. Okay, so I'm accurate in that memory. 6 nominations, Doris, Peter, Ray, Patty, all nominated. Interesting. Outstanding comedy, outstanding directing. Interesting. I wonder who directed. Yes, I don't know. That's a great question. Have I ever posted screen tests that the main actors did? So as far as I know, none of the main actors were on tape. So, yeah, I know that back in the day of, you're watching the screen test for The Godfather, Gone with the Wind, there was, when you reach a certain magnitude, you not only sometimes don't read, so that's a phrase in Hollywood where they say, will he read? Meaning, we're not going to make this star read. It doesn't make any sense when you think about it. It's a little bit of, there's a little bit of a, so much in Hollywood is about heat and how you're perceived. So you're above reading for a part. But the truth is, the greatest actor might not be right for a part. And so as far as I know, Marie came in live. I know they did. Peter Boyle, Patty, Ray, of course, was a star, Robert, Brad Garrett. So I don't think anybody submitted tape in any way, or if they were put on tape, I have never seen it. So that would be a great tape to try and find. But generally now, much like, and again, for those of you that are just tuning in for the first time, this is Tom Caltabiano as a writer on Everest Raymond for all 9 years. And I took 30,000 behind-the-scene photos. And related to the screen test, I saved every single script from every episode from the wardrobe department, which we will be peeking into today. We will peek into the breakup tape for which Ray won his Emmy. So now, from a historical perspective, you go, I wish they saved those tapes because they'd be so great to see. But back then, it's a videotape, and they're making 60 pilots that year. So Raymond is just one of a million pilots that they're making. So if that survived, that would really be a great thing to get our hands on. Yes, thank you, Donnell. Yes, Patricia Heaton, first win. That I remember very clearly. because, again, it felt like, oh, okay, maybe the show will someday have the potential of winning. Did Ray get paid for the Karen? Excellent question. Did Ray get paid for the table read for News Radio? I'm going to have to ask Ray, but as far as I know, yes, because he was hired and then fired or dismissed, as we say. But fired is the more painful way to say it. So I would bet that he did get paid because he was hired on the show, and I'm sure there's some specific thing about this is boring financial details unless you're on the receiving end of those financial pluses. But I'm sure that because we have had on Raymond a couple people that came in and got fired as well on the after the table read. Yes, Joe Rogan took over the role on News Radio. Are there categories for support departments to win the Emmy Awards? Yes, there are. There's a ton of categories. So I don't know them all, but there's editing, there's directing, there's let me see, of course, all the actors. I don't think, and they have their own, different unions, for example, have different awards. So, but best hair and makeup is one. So for the most part, and this was a very interesting topic because who's been neglected? Because one of the things I've been trying to do here in doing these lives is highlight all of the people that work on the show. So when you see that 130 people list of, you go, what do they do? And everybody is very important because if one thing is missing, and I've mentioned this, when you see a student film and you go, something feels a little bit off. That feels a little bit off is because they don't have the experience or the money to have a full crew where it's the wardrobe department has color coordinated everybody so nobody clashes and everybody's complimentary in the most subtle way. And the set dressing behind you doesn't distract and adds to the feel. So you want to highlight all those people. So I'm hoping there is an award for people, and it changes. So if you guys search on YouTube, and this was very interesting because we were talking when it came out about the I Love Lucy movie, the Aaron Sorkin scripted I Love Lucy movie. And when you watch that movie, they really were incompetent. They characterized the writers as being not so competent and kind of getting in the way of Lucy's genius and everyone else's genius. But when you watch the black and white clips of the Emmy Awards from the mid-'50s of Vivian Vance winning and Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz giving speeches, they are talking about there really should be a category for writers. And they go on and on about how thankful they are to the writers. And Vivian Vance says, I didn't create this character. The writers created this character. So the awards do change. There was no writers' awards at the beginning. Only Johnny Carson could bomb and still be hilarious, in your opinion? Yes. So funny you should mention that, Noah. Johnny had passed in 2005. I think it was January 25th, 2005, maybe. And so there was a tribute to Johnny at the 2005 Emmy Awards, and it was given by David Letterman. All right, let's see. And I think I have a picture of that. I will post it because they didn't finish in the time date. Okay, yes, very interesting comment. Yes. Yes, so again, sorry, I'm laughing. Yes, the Oscars, the award shows in general can be boring. I'm going to go on that. Yes, sorry. Did I say Newhart for his birthday, for Bob Newhart's birthday I posted? Did I say, I hope I didn't say that he had passed because he's still, I guess, feeling pretty well. The Emmy votings, yes. So the Emmy, just a show, let's say for best show, you would send out a sample of your episodes. And all right, we are back. Hello, everybody. Sorry, that's called an internet glitch. So here we go. Yes, Newhart is still alive. Did I? Yes, we covered that. I feel bad. Yes, you're glad that Ray won the Emmy for the breakup tape. His performance especially great, especially at the end. Yes. I will show you inside of that script. But first, I found this. So what is this innocuous-looking piece of something? When you win the Emmy, you go up and they give you a statue, and then they take it from you right away. And when they take it from you, you go, oh, that was short-lived. But then you go back and you sign papers, and they hand you an Emmy. But the Emmy is blank. So what I have here is the original blank. Oh, no, wait, let me see. This one is, oh, yes, I must have had. So here we go. This isn't, let me see, outstanding comedy. Okay, yes. So this is a general, here we go. There is the Academy of Television Arts and Sciences. Sorry, I know it's backwards. 2005, Everybody Loves Raymond. And so it says that, but you can order the one that has your name on it, and then you disassemble the Emmy, and I will bring one of my Emmys and disassemble it for you, and then you literally put this band on yourself. So this is the one that comes with the Emmy that night. So there you go. That, I don't think I've ever seen that, and I didn't know it until we actually won the Emmy. All right, now, again, everybody, a little intermission there as my Wi-Fi went down and I went onto my phone. Hello, everybody. Thanks for rejoining. Here we go. So now, let's do the inside. Let's look at the inside of, again, backwards, Everybody Loves Raymond, the breakup tape. And when Ray joins us again, we'll go through that submission process. It's very hard. You have to decide, as the lead actor, what episode are you going to submit for consideration. And if you lose, you're going to be like, oh, I should have submitted this. So there's a lot of second guessing. And again, you are being judged on an artistic endeavor. Okay, for those of you who just joined, this is Tom Caldabiano. I was a writer on Everett Raymond for all 9 seasons. And I saved all of the episodes of the show from the trash heap. So here we go. This is the first page. There we see Raymond. Again, this is wardrobe that you have seen many, many times. The first episode, you see the wardrobe department's notes, and we will be talking to some of her. There's hanging on the closet. We have to know what Ray has if he went into the closet. And this, again, is for continuity. So there we go. That's on the steps, for those of you who've seen the breakup tape. And let me know in the comments why you think Ray won for the breakup tape. There we go. Ray in his underwear. That says the teaser, and that's the beginning of the show. And here is Raymond. That might be, could be me standing next to Raymond. It's hard to tell. These are Polaroid photos taken by the wardrobe department. So looking at Raymond, the breakup tape. Here we go. Raymond Polaroids. And that looks like Don from wardrobe standing, Don from props standing next to Raymond in the thing. Okay, Patricia Heaton, who, there we go. The beginning scene, teaser. There we go. It says teaser. Again, it's backwards, and I will post these pictures. There is Patty in bed reading, looking at the camera. And again, the idea of the wardrobe department is to not be in the way. So very often the actors are not looking, and this must be some clothes that has been draped on the chair, and to make sure for continuity that people don't catch any mistakes, they take these Polaroids. Here we go. Patty in the kitchen. It looks like scene, hard to tell because I'm reading it backwards as well. There's Patty. You'll recognize that outfit. And there we go. Doris Roberts in one of her many tops that are so identifiable as Doris. And here we go. Peter Boyle. Peter Boyle, that is the classic Peter Boyle outfit right there. The cardigan sweater and the Peter Boyle, bringing the Peter Boyle face. And here we go. Brad Garrett. Let's see, he usually makes a funny face at wardrobe. Let's see what he's doing there now. And for those of you that got a chance to catch Brad in his Las Vegas club, he's there occasionally, and he was there this weekend. So hopefully he'll be there again in the future. Madeline Sweeten at the end. There we go. Not a lot of wardrobe changes for the breakup tape, but the most significant episode in Ray's acting career because of the Emmy that he won from that. All right, I will ask. Let's look through some of these questions that I don't want to miss. Was watching ladies? Yes. The episode where all the ladies go to Robert's apartment? Yes. Robert's apartment is called. Deborah's keepsake box was huge. Yes, great. So again, that was based on a real life story, the breakup tape that Aaron Shore kept a tape of a girl breaking up with him, and his wife thought it was weird, and so he came in with that idea, and we were trying to figure out what would happen in the second act of the show. And Aaron said, you know what, let me go talk to my wife and see if I can get into a fight that helps us finish that episode. But in fact, we did not. He did not rather get into a fight. We were forced to do some writing. I loved at the end that the other item in the shoebox was a shoehorn. That came with the box. Yes, Karen, a little funny. Thank you for noticing that. A little funny thing. You love these. Noah, yes, the detailed photographs are great. There we go. Yes. So the what it was like during 911 and ELR. Yes. We're gonna. I will. Let's see. I know it's appropriate. Today is 9/11. It's a very. There's a lot going on. Hello, Teresa, in Chicago. Hello, Gary. So the Emmys. I have so much more to share with you about the Emmys. I don't want to go on too long today. So I'll touch on 9/11 as well a little bit. But there's many more stories. I'll post pictures. The Emmys are tomorrow. I don't know why they moved it to a Monday night. And we will try and tell so many stories about the Emmys, because the one thing about the Emmys, which was told to me, is the room fills up with losers, meaning as you're sitting in this giant venue, everybody's excited at the first moment because everybody is a potential winner. But as the names get read off and your name is not on it, the room starts getting slightly sadder and sadder as you sit there. And for Everybody's Raymond, the first time the show won for Best Comedy, we thought, we have a shot at it. But in 2005, Desperate Housewives was such a giant hit that we thought there is no chance that the show could win an Emmy. As a matter of fact, we were told afterwards that somebody that was working on the show received a call from the people who were helping out the head writer of Desperate Housewives, and he had prepped his acceptance speech, and we thought, yeah, that would make sense, because Desperate Housewives was such a phenomenon. For those of you that haven't seen it, it was kind of a modern-day soap opera, but it was on primetime TV, and it was doing well. And I don't know that I would categorize it as a comedy in the same way as Everybody's Raymond, but it was a giant force on TV. And so when the last awards came around, we thought, okay, we don't have a shot, and so we kind of we were resigned to losing. And so when they called the name Everybody's Raymond, and I think it was Mike Myers, he jumped. He was startled because we let out such a big cheer because it was such a surprise. And so that 2005, in many ways, was sweeter than the other one, because we thought the show is over. This is our last hurrah, and we will not win. But in fact, we did, and I will post some pictures from on stage after that win. So 9/11. 9/11 is a very long story because the DVD launch of Everybody's Raymond was planned for, I will find out the exact date, but it was either September 13th or 14th, 2001. So Ray and the whole cast flew in to New York. I believe it was September 10th, 2001. And I know Ray, I don't know if the whole cast, but I know Ray and Brad and I think Patty went to see Michael Jackson so that you could look up, was Michael Jackson in New York on 2010. And then the writers, all the producers and writers, we were supposed to fly in either September 12th or September 13th. To go to this big DVD launch party in New York that we had been looking forward to for the longest time because we had never really all been in New York together. And so Ray, they were in the green room, I believe, the cast, to see for the Rosie O'Donnell show. And they heard of the first tower being hit. And I remember I was waking up in L.A. and I heard news of that. And so I tuned in to I turned on my TV and I was like, oh, that doesn't seem like a small plane. That was the initial report. And then, of course, we know what happened next. And Ray and the cast, they were stuck in Manhattan. They helped out some people. I know Ray, I think he gave some clothes to someone who had walked in from downtown. And they were more in Midtown. So for those who aren't familiar with Manhattan, they were about 54th Street or something. And the World Trade Center is at the very tip of Manhattan. But people were just moving north to get away from the towers. And so I know that Ray, they saw somebody who, was obviously close, and they gave him some clothes. And I can't even remember if they took him to dinner with him, etc. And eventually, so I'll take more time with this story another time, but eventually, there was no airfare. There was no air traffic, rather. So Ray and Brad rented a bus with a driver, and they drove as far as they could before ultimately catching a flight once flights activated again. That in itself would be a nice little to be a fly on the wall of that van. And then I think Phil and a couple of other people ultimately flew back after a few days. So I'll take more time. It's such a specific an emotional story, but that's kind of, we were supposed to be in New York, all of us, at that time, and the DVD release ultimately, I think it happened a year later or something like that. Yes, after losing our beautiful queen here in the United Kingdom, ELRs definitely gave me a sense of comfort and familiarity. Yes, I am sorry about that news, which dominates our news in the U.S. How many Emmys did ELR win? I think maybe 16 Emmys or 15 Emmys, somewhere around there. I think 69 nominations. Did the ELR table at the Emmys get better each year? Did the ELR table at the Emmys get better? Bobby, excellent question. Meaning, yes. So our seats got better, and the table, there's a governor's ball afterwards. They call it the governor's ball. There's a giant celebration. And if you have an Emmy from that night, you can get into, I think, pretty much every party. You just flash your Emmy. So, yes, I would say slowly we had better accommodations, let's just say, better positioning. There are clips on YouTube of Ray talking about this also, talking about 9/11, because there's also, we're bouncing back and forth. The Emmys, Ray did a very funny thing. He said to his parents, if he wins an Emmy, he brought them to the Emmys. If he wins an Emmy, he's going to bring them right to the airport. He said that on stage. So it was a very proud moment. Yes. Oh, Paula, yes, talking about 9/11, Ray talking about the experience. It was quite an emotional time. Now I think, is it 17 years ago? How many? I should be able to add this up. Yes. I know I did go. Yes, I did cover that, and I will. Have I been to Brad's Comedy Club in Vegas, Tom? I have been to his old club. So he just moved to a new club that is on the ground floor, and it's very nice. And I was talking to Ray and a comedian that just worked at Brad's recently, and it's apparently a very nice club at the MGM. You should go. Yes, you should go if you ever have a chance. Ray's poem about Deborah's ears. Yes, that was quite a sitting there trying to write that poem, Aaron and I. And that was, yeah, to rhyme cartilage. That was a very funny moment, an Aaron Shore rhyme there. You just watched Purple Aquarius. You just watched Brad playing Jackie Gleason. He was great as Jackie Gleason. I would love to talk to Brad because I know that was a struggle to get that part as well. I love the other. Yes. All right. So I'm sorry about this. The interruption. The Wi-Fi went down, but we are back. Thank you so much for watching. I will post many pictures of the Emmys behind the scenes this week, and then I will post the pictures from the breakup tape, the script that Ray submitted that led to him winning his Emmy for acting. Yes, we've had Brad on. We'll have. I just have to have Patty Heaton join. She will be great. I'm very much looking forward to it. Of course, catching up and hearing some of her stories, hopefully multiple times. All right. Thank you very much, everybody. I will see you next week. Have a good week. Remember, spread the word to your friends. And also, we'll have sample mugs very, very soon that I will be drinking from, much like we'll have Phil on because Phil has a book coming out. So much like Phil's mug, only it will have the suggested phrases that you guys have suggested. So thank you for that. See you guys next week. Thank you so much.